What is up, guys? Let's see who's on. I believe Jaquise is on. Give it a second, see if Stacy's getting on, getting ready. Awesome. All right, so right now I have 0 viewers. Let's see what's going on. Oh, all right. Stacy is on her way. Jaquise, if you're watching, just comment real quick and just let me know so I can cover some stuff real quick. I know Stacy's having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we'll give her, excuse me, a second to get on here. I'm fired up. I'm ready. We're gonna have some fun today. Google Plus app. Hmm? All right. Give it a couple more seconds. We have 0 right now.
Can anybody sign on and watch it?
What was that?
Can anybody sign on and watch it?
No. It has to be people from Photocracy, which is nice. All right. Give it a couple more seconds, and we'll get started. All right, guys, I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. I'm just gonna get started, just so we can make the most of our hour and make sure we don't have any missed opportunities to answer some questions, ask some questions, learn some awesome stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna keep checking my my Google Plus, making sure I don't have any missed comments or anything like that. I think that's where I'm getting the majority of these questions from. So I want to make sure we have as much on there as possible. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna get started, and Jaquise, if you're able to listen, if you're able to hear me, that's awesome. Feel free, hit me up via the comments or even on Photocracy if you have any questions. I got both those web pages open right behind me, like behind the screen, and I can kind of check it out from there. So first things first, before I tell the story, I'm gonna kind of give it a hey, Stacy's there. What's up, Stacy? How are you? How are you? Glad you got your internet to work. Cool. Awesome. So check it out. So this is awesome. I know that I have at least 1 viewer right now. So check it out. So guys, I'll tell the story. I'll get that off my chest. I'm super excited to tell this story. This is a story that I like to tell before classes every once in a while. I always tell a story before our hurricane classes, and a lot of you guys are going to be doing your hurricanes starting next week. That's kind of like the Training for Warriors flagship workout, I guess you could say. Anyway, so here's the story. This is something that I think really speaks to myself, and will hopefully really speak to you guys too. So the story goes, there's this young boy in Brazil. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but in Brazil, they have the 2nd largest Japanese population outside of Japan. So in Brazil, they have, hold on, I just got a notification. Somebody said no. All right, anyway, so in Brazil, they have the 2nd largest population of Japanese outside of Japan. And so, naturally, judo is a very big sport. Judo and jiu-jitsu are both huge sports in Japan. And so, for that reason, they're also huge sports in Brazil. Now, this young boy, he's very athletic, but the only thing is he has 1 arm, right? So he only has his right arm, his right hand. He still can play soccer and do all these things, but he really wants to learn judo. That's the only thing that he cares about, right? So he's younger. He's maybe 12, 13 years old, and every day, him and his mom, they drive by this judo school. And he asks her every single time, he goes, Mom, please take me there. I want to learn judo. That's all that I want to learn. I want to get really, really good at judo. And so they drive by, and every single time, his mom's like, yeah, sorry, I don't think that's the best idea, right? And so he keeps asking, she's trying to protect him. She wants to make sure he doesn't get hurt. He has one arm, so it's going to be pretty tough. And so finally, he's been asking for 3 months, and finally she's like, fine, whatever. I'll take you to go learn some judo, right? We'll see what happens. So they walk into the school, and the master instructor, he goes up and he goes, hey, I want to teach you, right? We're going to do 3 hours a week, just you and me, right? I think you're a perfect student for me. And the kid's pumped. He's like, yes, awesome. I've always wanted to learn judo. I'm learning from one of the best guys in all of Brazil. I'm excited. I'm ready, right? So he goes into his first class, and he learns one takedown. He learns one takedown and one counter, all right? Learns one takedown, one counter. The next day, he goes in, and he learns the exact same thing, right? So he keeps going. He's been coming for about 2-3 months, and the instructor's only taught him one takedown and one counter, right? He's kind of getting frustrated. He's like, hey, what's the deal with this? I've been, coming for so long, and I'm really trying to do what all the other kids are doing. They're doing all these cool takedowns, they're doing all these different counters. They're working on different, counters on the ground. When do I get to learn that? I want to be, I want to learn all of judo. I want to learn all of these different techniques. And so the master instructor's like, hey, give it a couple more months. Just keep going, keep practicing. And so the kid keeps coming. He keeps going. But then, all of a sudden, he gets bored. He's like, you know what? I've learned one thing. I'm done. Jaquise, I see you have no sound. You can see everyone's posts. I'm not sure how to do that on your cell phone. Sorry, man. All right. So anyway, so he keeps going, getting bored. He goes up to the instructor and he's like, hey, I think I'm gonna quit. Like, that's it. It seems really cool. I really liked it, but I'm not learning anything. I've only learned one technique. I've only learned the counter and then the takedown, and that's it. And so finally the instructor, he kind of laughs and goes, look, I knew this was going to happen. I've actually signed you up for the state tournament, right? The winner of this tournament is the best in all of Brazil. And so the kid's kind of annoyed. He's like, hey, I've only really learned one thing, and you're going to put me in a tournament with some of the best in the entire country. And so he goes in, he wins his first match, right? He gets ready. He does the one counter and the one takedown. Full ippon, wins, right? And so every single match, he goes through about 3 matches, and they're very quick, easy full ippons. And a full ippon is when you win the match by getting one takedown, right? So he gets these full ippons, and he's just destroying everyone. He's kind of confused. He's like, I don't really have a left arm. How exactly is this happening? And so finally, he makes his way to the final match, right? He's undefeated in the tournament so far, and he matches up against the next guy, right? And so they get ready, they get set, they say fight, they kind of struggle back and forth. The kid does a one counter and the one takedown and wins, right? He takes the guy down, full ippon, the crowd goes wild, everybody's excited, he's freaking out, he's so pumped. And he's kind of confused at the exact same time, so he parties it up, he's super excited. And on the way home, he's driving back with his instructor, and he kind of goes, he's like, hey, I got a question. And the instructor goes, yeah, what? He goes, so how exactly did that just happen? I have one arm, I know one technique, and I just became the best in Brazil for my age and my weight. How exactly does that work? And so the instructor, once again, kind of chuckles, and he goes, actually, that's a very good question. That one takedown, that one counter and that one takedown, those are actually the toughest to learn in all of judo, right? Those are black belt moves. Now, they take years and years and years to perfect. But there's only one way to stop it, right? So it takes a lot of practice. There's only one way to stop it, and that's why it's such a good technique. But the only way to stop it is to grab your left arm. So the kid kind of goes, wait, I have nothing to grab onto. So you can't stop him, right? And so the moral of the story is he thought in the beginning that was his biggest weakness, right? He has one arm. You know, he might not be able to do judo. He really has been limiting himself, you know, because of that one disability, right? But right, you need to turn your biggest handicap or your biggest weakness into your biggest strength, right? So what do? You worked around that. So sometimes we have injuries. We have all these things that we say are really, you know, kind of stopping us from getting to our goals, right? I don't have time to eat well. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. I hear that all the time, right? But that can also be your biggest strength, right? That can also be a good reason for you to maybe start to spend an hour or two every week and prepare some meals and get ready for the rest of the week, right? Turn that into your biggest strength, right? So turn your biggest strengths, or turn your weaknesses into your strengths. That is the motivational message for today. With that being said, let's get started. Let's get into the fun stuff. So, Stacy, Jacques, if you have any questions, definitely stop me. I'm going to kind of just, like I did last time, kind of rattle off the boring stuff, the stuff that I need to talk about with you guys. So, first things first, I'm going to say this last time, I'm going to say it again. I know that we had some technical difficulties. I really want you guys to send in some form checks. Talking about turning your weaknesses into your strengths. If I can see where you are with deadlifting, see if I can change your technique a little bit. Squatting, single leg split squats. I'm going to go into the technique for those a little bit today, but I really want to make sure that we have those like down pat. And I'm not having you guys do anything that's going to eventually turn into even a weak point for you, end up injuring yourself or anything like that. So yeah, guys, really, really important. At least, hopefully next week you guys can get in at least two of the movements that I have in the guidelines. It's just really, really important. It allows me to program the next couple weeks, which I'm going to talk about later on. It allows me to program the next couple weeks a little bit better, right? Because it is important that I get to do that. Hey, we have 2 viewers. Nice. Welcome, Jacques. All right, so check it out. Moving on, macros. So we got to talk a little bit about our macros last time. Kind of, how important it is to eat the right amount of fuel. If you don't fuel the car enough, it's not going to be able to go the distance, right? So check it out. I know that it's tough to kind of, if you haven't done a lot of calorie counting before, or how do I want to say this? Or it's kind of new to try and hit all these different macronutrients. I figured we should probably prioritize things, right? So what I want you guys to focus on first, rather than trying to do calories, protein, fat, carbohydrates, fiber, all of these things, there's only 2 things that I want you to focus on for the next 2 weeks. All right, I want you guys to focus on protein, and I want you to focus on overall calories. All right, so that means if you're still hitting your numbers, let's say you need to eat 2,000 calories a day, you eat 2,000 calories. Let's say you need to eat 160 grams of protein every day, you eat your 160 grams of protein. Those are the 2 most important things that I want you to hit. The fat and the carbohydrates we'll work on later, but just getting the right amount of calories in as well as the right amount of protein, that's going to set you on a really, really good track. That's going to help you recover faster from your workouts, and you're probably going to feel a little bit better overall for the next, couple weeks while you start to eat the right amount of food. Might be able to stay full for longer, and you'll definitely, like I said, you'll notice it in the workouts. You feel a little bit better. Now, next up would be the carries. So I'm a very, very big believer in doing a lot of loaded carries. So farmers carries are like the bread and butter of my strength training programs. Besides the squat, the deadlift, and the press, right? Now, the reason for that is a couple things. I know that I touched on it a little bit last time, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth. So with the carries, one of the reasons that I like it, number one, it is amazing for kind of getting your heart rate up, right? You walk around some heavy dumbbells, it might look really easy, it might look really simple, but your whole body is working, right? And I know that you guys can tell too. let's say you have 50, 60, 70, 80, 100-pound dumbbells in your hands. You're loading your spine so much, your heart rate's going to get up. You're going to be sweating a little bit. You might be a little bit out of breath, but you're also going to be able to kind of burn some fat, and also most importantly, it's going to kind of pull everything into that right position, right? So you can't do those with crappy posture. So also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have a pretty awesome. Stacy has just commented. I have a pretty awesome tank top on. That should help. I found it really difficult to focus on everything at the same time. Yeah. So seriously, first things first. Awesome tank top. Do you even lift? Yeah. So seriously, what I want you guys to focus on, I'm gonna give myself some room. What I want you guys to focus on for the next couple weeks is just hit protein and calories. Since I know that we got to talk a little bit about just kind of finding the balance between going too low on carbs, too high on carbs, too high on fat, all of that fun stuff. So check it out. For the loaded carries, I want you guys to think about something. If I have some really heavy dumbbells in my hands, move this chair out of the way. If I have some really heavy dumbbells in my hands, how am I going to carry them? Am I going to carry them like this? No. It's literally impossible. So I need to have perfect posture. I need to have my chest up nice and tall, my shoulder blades back, or else I'm literally going to fall over. So one of the reasons I love them, great for posture. Very good for retracting those shoulder blades, getting your shoulders nice and tight. Now, part two of that, and that kind of goes into the shoulder deal, is that it actually pulls your shoulder into the correct position, right? So all too often we sit down at a desk, or maybe even just overuse injuries. I know a lot of carpenters have a ton of shoulder issues. Pretty much, if you sit down at a desk, if you work on a computer, or if you're constantly doing something with your arms, what that can do is that can kind of change the way that the shoulder joint is set, right? So if I'm sitting down at a desk all day and I got my arms forward like this, what's going to happen? Eventually, everything's going to want to be like this. I'm going to be very tight anteriorly, or like in the front. And so what happens if I start to do this, that, and the other thing? I can start to get into some dangerous, tearing different parts of my rotator cuff and stuff like that. But nevertheless, it helps to pull your shoulders into the correct spot. Now, this is awesome if you have a shoulder injury, or it's a great way to prevent that. So definitely, we're going to be doing a lot of carries, especially moving on into the next phase, which I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about. Awesome. Isn't that the best shirt? I'm very proud of this. My mom got it for me, so that makes it just a little bit better. But yeah, I'm pretty psyched about this. So finally, before we get into the questions and the kind of free for all, I want to talk to you guys about the single leg split squat and the split squat. All right. Now, as you guys both know, that is kind of like our bread and butter squatting exercise. Number one, it's great for stability. It's going to help build up some ankle stability. Great for keeping your knees healthy. Right. Number two, you can also usually load a single leg or a unilateral exercise a little bit more than you would be able to if you were doing a bilateral exercise, right? So let's say I'm doing single leg split squats. I can get 135 on one leg, right? Right, so I get 135 on one leg, really awesome. But I can't squat 270 with two legs, right? Think about that. So if I can do 135 on one leg, that's the equivalent of doing 270 total, right? If I can't do 270 on two legs, that means I got more tension on one leg than I would have been able to normally, therefore making me much stronger. So not only making myself more stable, but I'm also getting stronger, which is kind of the best combination ever. I was talking to my girlfriend Chandler, she's in the other room right now, about, she's been mainly doing single leg work, and she squatted today, and she only, it was 135, it was a good amount of weight, but it wasn't her max, but she was like, that was the easiest it's ever felt. I've really only been doing single leg work. I haven't done any, two leg bilateral squatting, back squats. Why do you think that was so easy? And I go, oh, simple. because she originally, her weight would shift from one leg to the other while she would squat. She had a little bit of an asymmetry, and it helped to balance out the asymmetry. So instead of pushing with her right leg or her left leg a little bit more than the other, it helped her kind of push evenly and use two legs instead of just one. I just got an email. Pretty cool. One of my articles just got put onto Yahoo Sports, so I'll post that in the group. It's actually kind of calling out CrossFit, which makes it even more fun. What next? Oh, cool. So I'm just gonna go really quickly into some form checks, some things that I want to see when I see those form checks you guys are gonna be sending me in, and also some things I definitely don't want to see. So check it out. Real simple. For the split squats, I'm going to have to grab something to put my foot on it. For the split squats, what I do want to see is right here, chest is nice and tall. You can start about 90 degrees in both knees. Keep your chest up. Now either hands out to the side, hands on your shoulders. If you're holding onto a weight, hold onto a goblet style right here. Chest is nice and tall, and stand right up. Now, notice how I'm not locking this knee out, right? I'm not locking myself totally out. That's not exactly the best position for your knee. Keep everything nice and soft, back down, and then right back up. All right? You might notice that there is a slight difference in balance, right? And that's why we're doing it. A lot of people will go, oh, wow, you know, like I can bang out 10 body weight on my right leg, and then the second that my left leg is in front, I got nothing. It's like I'm intoxicated, right? Which is not what we want. So, moving along, check it out. So here's what we are going to do. So for the single leg split squat stuff, I want you guys to go. We're going to find a chair that I can use without knocking a bunch of stuff over. So check it out. For the single leg split squat, I'm going to use the bottom part of this chair. I hope that it doesn't fall. But hey, I like to live on the edge. So for the single leg split squat, the way that I like to do it is right here. I like to go calves up against the bench, and I take a big step forward with my left foot. Take my right foot, put it right behind me, right? So it's usually a little bit higher on a bench, right here. Come down, come right back up. All right, now, what I don't want to see is this, and this is I see it all too often. I step over to Narnia, bring my other leg back, and I'm like kind of doing a split squat like this. My leg is way in front, right? Think about where my hips are. There's no way that that is comfortable or that that is good for me, right? So guys, when you go down, I want you to be able to keep both knees, or your front knee at least, at about 90, and really not let that back leg get behind you too much, all right? That is very, very important. I think I got another comment on here. Awesome. Got somebody else watching. Sweet. All right. Guys, do you have any questions about that really quick? Send me some comments. I tried to get the Q&A working again, but it didn't work. If you guys have any questions about that stuff, I'll give you a real quick from the front. What I want those split squats and single leg split squats to look like. From the front, it would look something like this. Right here. Let's see. Right here. So chest is nice and tall. Notice how my knees not totally out to the side. It's not really in front. I would say about shoulder width apart is a good starting point. Feel free to bring that foot in a little bit closer to a straight line, knee to heel later on. So right here, chest right up, right down. I'm not doing any sort of really crazy hip flexor stretch at the top, and I'm not locking either knee out. So hit me with some questions real quick about that. Let's see what we got. Anything? Going once, going twice. Let's see. All right, I think we have 2 or 3 people on here. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Any questions? Now, guys, how is this spelled? Like, while you were doing that, did you notice, maybe any sort of uh, knee pain? You feel a big stretch in the back leg? How did your foot feel? I can give you some good spots that you can do the single leg split squat. I know it can be pretty uncomfortable to do that on a bench. I actually just bought myself a special apparatus for them. That's like my bread and butter lower body exercise. Awesome. Yeah. So Stacy, for those single leg split squats, um, you can go pretty far back, depending on kind of how that knee feels. I know that the knee can be a little bit of an issue. Here, I'm actually going to turn this around and steal one of the chairs. All right, give me 1 second. I'll kind of give you a better visual of what I was looking for. That wasn't the best. So check it out. So you can go right here, forward a little bit. You can go right here. What I like to see is I like to just go calves right up against the bench, big step forward with your right foot, bring that other leg back, chest up nice and tall, come right down. Let's say I'm doing a goblet. I'm right here, right? That's about as far back as I really want to go. If I'm any farther than that, I'm kind of just leaning on that hip capsule as opposed to getting my hips to be moving nice and evenly. Now, another thing that I want to look at is that we're not sitting back, right? That's another thing that I see. I would say about 50% of the time, right here, they're leaning back and then sitting forward, right? You see what's happening? Rather than being a vertical up to down motion, it's kind of a forward and backward. So I want to see right here, chest up nice and tall, pushing straight up, and then straight down. All right? And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'm going to change sides. Give it a second to get some questions going. Traffic Q&A. Yeah, and guys, those are, I would say, probably one of the most safe and effective exercises in terms of building up the leg strength. Perfect. I'll be looking for that next week. Yeah, awesome. And yeah, so I would say this is probably one of the safest and most effective ways to really build up our squatting strength. We'll be doing some bilateral, like some two-leg squats relatively soon, but I really want to make sure that we address any asymmetries by doing all this one leg awesomeness. Let me just double check. Got another comment. Awesome. Cool. All right, so next up, I think I had some questions for you guys. How was the last week? How was the difficulty? Did you feel that you're really getting challenged, or did you feel like the workouts were a little bit easier? Did you feel like they may have been too hard? Give me some feedback, and that's only going to allow me to see exactly where we are and how hard I can push. I always like to start things out maybe a little bit easier than you could possibly do, because I definitely want to make sure that we're getting that technique down, we're getting used to how these workouts are set up with these, kind of different warm-up, where the warm-up is more of the workout than the workout itself is, right? Doing all those loaded carries and swings and squats and all that fun stuff. I really want to make sure that is on point before we get started. Let's see what's going on. All right. Let's see. And then another thing that I wanted to ask, and definitely feel free to put this into the comments. What exercises did you feel like you needed some more help with in terms of techniques? Right. So I know that the complexes. I know Jacques had some issues with the hang clean. Like I really want to make sure that that's an exercise that you guys get more comfortable with. You know, it's a full body exercise, and we want to make sure that that's something. Oh, got another one. Awesome. I will answer that in a second. You know, I want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with the hang cleans, comfortable with what we're doing in all of our exercises. With the sprinting, I'll go a little bit more into that in a second. Yeah. So Stacy, in terms of grip, you actually have a couple options. So, excuse me. So one of the things that's going to help it will be deadlifts, right? So when you're doing a deadlift, unless you're using wrist wraps, which I would recommend it is go raw, like use just your bare hands. That's going to naturally, you're going to just naturally get better grip strength from that. Another thing that you can do is work on those loaded carries. Chin-ups are really going to help, and it's just going to be a slowly but surely, just gradual accumulation of having to grip, right, and making your grip stronger. Another thing that you can do, I've never personally done this, but I know a lot of people that have, and they speak very highly of it. It's one of those grip trainers. I know you can buy them for relatively cheap, and just kind of use that and like work on just squeezing it, get a relatively tough one, and train it just as if you would train any other body part. You can do relatively heavy like rack pulls. We're not going to do those quite yet though, and that's just another thing that you can do to really work on that grip. Basically, anything where you're holding weight, just like those farmer's carries, those are a great example. The body weight rows and the chin-ups and the deadlifts are all going to be great grip builders without having to go buy a fancy piece of equipment that you have to go squeeze with your hand, right? I would say give it like maybe 2 weeks, and you'll really notice those farmer's carries are getting easier and easier. One cue that I like to use is I like to think about crushing it, right? So when I'm doing a farmer's carry, I think about taking the grip and trying to turn the grip into like dust because I'm squeezing it so hard. And that really does help to kind of keep everything, my whole body tight, while also keep my grip nice and strong. So I'm gonna check this out real quick, make sure I don't have any more questions. Cool. Yeah. So also, any questions about technique? Maybe the hamstring curls. That's another great one. That's a really great exercise. I'm happy that everybody was feeling their hamstrings, but I really want to make sure that you guys are doing them correctly. So if you guys are comfortable with them, let me know. If you have some questions about the technique, also let me know, because once again, they're essential to having healthy hamstrings, and you can do them okay and get a little bit out of them, but if you do them right, you get a lot out of them. Awesome. Also, Stacy, good morning. What time is it? Let's see how far back you are. I'm going to check on my phone. So it's what? It's 8:30 a.m.? It's nuts. So you're watching this tomorrow, pretty much, for me. Cool. Yeah, also, really quick, give me a heads up. Tell me easy, medium, or hard for how those workouts were. I want to make sure that you guys are cool with where that is. I'm not, pushing you guys too hard, but I'm also not making it too easy for you. (8:35 a.m.) That's crazy. That is crazy. It is 7:35 on Saturday right now. From the future. You're pretty much a Terminator. All right. Awesome. I'm also, guys, if you guys are interested in reading books or anything like that, I'm reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's biography. Absolutely amazing. That dude is very inspirational in the sense of he was very focused on his goals, would pretty much do whatever he had to do to achieve them. While also, just his life story is crazy. He's pretty much done everything and anything in terms of awesome. In terms of he's very successful for a lot of really awesome reasons. Guys, really quickly, I'm going to introduce you to my girlfriend. Oh, never mind. She just got out of the shower. Give her a second. So Stacy, deadlift day was spot on. Upper body was really difficult. And I think it had to do with how sore you were from deadlift day and just getting back into lifting again. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is I want to make sure that you guys are sore, but not so sore to the point of like, you're hobbling into work every day because your legs are so sore. We want to build up on accumulating enough volume. This is my beautiful girlfriend Chandler.
Doing your laundry.
Yeah, are you doing my laundry too?
I just did it.
She's doing my laundry, so I'm a very lucky man. Yeah, so right now we're working on accumulating enough volume to help you guys not be as sore. We want to help you guys get stronger without all the pain that comes along with it, right? You actually don't need to be sore. Being sore is actually an indicator that your body hasn't quite adapted to the stimulus yet, which we want you to do very quickly. All right. Let's see. So, Terminator Stacy, you got any more questions besides being from the future and crazy stuff like that? I think that the one more question that I have for you guys, and then after that, free for all, ask anything and everything, would be technique for the split squats. Now, do you guys feel comfortable with that? Is that something that you feel like you can just bang out, or is that something that we really want to kind of keep drilling in? I can keep posting some videos. I know that video I posted was silent. There was no cues on there, but it did definitely give you guys hopefully some good base for what you want to do. Yes, she's very good. She's awesome, and she somehow enjoys doing laundry and things like that. So that's even better. Awesome. Oh, nice. Awesome. So leg day was a little easy, and like I said, I felt my calves were feeling neglected. I played soccer my whole life, and that's pretty strong. Awesome. So for the calves, feel free. I'm not sure if you are currently doing anything for calves. Feel free to throw in some calf raises. As I'm sure you could see while I was doing those single leg split squats, I don't really train calves too much. I'm more concerned with just the overall functionality of like how stable and how strong I can make the movements as opposed to just one muscle group. By all means, throw in some calf raises. Also, I believe that you have programmed in either in the next week or the week after that some sprinting, which should definitely take care of that calf issue. You'll definitely be feeling those calves afterwards, especially if you're doing it on a treadmill at the slight incline. So now I'm going to cover really quick. I just want to talk to you guys about where we're going for the next couple of weeks in terms of programming, right? So the dog is snoring by the door right now. I was trying to figure out what that noise was. So in terms of programming, check it out. Right now you guys are doing very basic 5 sets of 5. This is allowing me to assess where you are in terms of strength, and also kind of get a very good base for where we're going next. The volume isn't super high every week, except for the warm-ups. The warm-ups are definitely going to be giving you kind of a greasing the groove or a little bit of practice with all of these different movements. So that being said, check it out. Right now you guys are doing the basic stuff. We're going to be moving into a higher frequency. Awesome. Perfect. We're going to be going into higher frequency. So The next maybe month we'll be moving into squatting twice a week, deadlifting probably either once or twice a week, depending on how those are feeling, and pressing twice a week. Now, what does that mean? That means that right now we're building up on the volume, and then for these workouts, we'll have one workout that is devoted to just volume, right? So it's going to be a little bit lower in weight in terms of the RPE, so I'm not going to have you guys doing like heavy back squats or anything like that. That'll probably be the days where you do maybe like 3 sets of 8 on single leg split squats or 3 sets of 8 on bench press. And then the next day is we're going to be doing maybe 3 sets of 5 or 3 sets of 3, really getting into like, some heavy, some awesome strength work. But I want to make sure that we do a little bit of both. Now, what this does is this, number one, helps to build muscle. You build muscle, you get stronger. That's a pretty simple way of putting it, right? So it's going to help you build some muscle by doing the higher volume stuff, and then the strength training stuff will help to take that muscle that you built and make sure that it's nice and explosive and powerful. Also, it's a great way to kind of work on endurance, right? So I know that Stacy, you're a runner. Jacques, like you're doing a Spartan sprint. These are things that you don't want to just be really powerful and really quick in a 40-yard sprint, but it's something where you want to be able to have a little bit of endurance in your legs. So that'll definitely help out quite a bit. Next up, also for the sprinting, like I said, you guys are going to be doing some training for Warriors Hurricanes in the next week or two. Guys, like I think I posted this in the guidelines. I think I may even said it last time. I really want a sprint. I want a good sprint. I want you guys to be like on fire, arms locked in nice and tight, hands are nice and open. I'm going to be posting a couple of videos of what exactly I'm looking for in terms of form while you guys are sprinting, because that's very, very important. We're using every muscle in our body as fast as possible. So we want to make sure that we're doing it the right way, right? Okay, next question. If I start too light on an exercise and have to trade out weights, do I finish the set, then redo the set with the new weights? Or do I add some reps to the set, then go on to the next set with the new weight? Stacy, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. Is this for like a 5x5 for the warm-up? When is this? I would say if you're starting too light on an exercise and have to trade out weights, or is this like with the single leg stuff? So if let's say you're doing single leg split squats, you're doing them with 20 pounds, you do your first set of 5 and you're like, wow, I could have like fallen asleep doing that. That was so easy. What I want you to do is I want you to go up. Finish off the set, right? So obviously I don't want you to do 20 pounds on your right leg and 30 pounds on your left, because what's going to happen? That's going to be a total, you're training one side of your body too much, or with a little bit heavier weight, and that's not exactly what we want. We want to make sure that we're nice and symmetrical with everything, right? If this is with a 5x5, then feel free to go up, right? So if you're like, wow, I thought that that 20 pounds in the single leg split squat was going to be a little bit tougher. I'm on my second set of split squats, and it felt really, really easy and felt really good. Then by all means, feel free to go up in weight, right? So let's say third set is easy. 4 and 5, go up, maybe 5-10 pounds. Remember that it is a lot of volume. You're going to be getting a little bit tired. So you don't want to make such a big jump. You have to go up and then down and then up again, or start down, go up and then go down again, right? All right. Let's see what else we got. Any more questions? Shall we really quickly grab me a Band-Aid? Yeah. Or like a paper towel. Yeah. I have like a scab on my leg. I just found myself itching my leg and all of a sudden it's bleeding. Cool. And then really quick, I'm just going to go over where I am with my training. You'll see quite a few similarities. You'll see quite a few similarities in terms of where I am right now, when you guys will be very shortly. All right. Jacques, I'm not sure if you can hear, but if you have any questions, please let me know, or at least immediately afterwards ask them onto our photography group. I really want that to be an open forum. And guys, after every single workout, I want you guys to post and just kind of you guys have been really awesome about that this week. But I want to make sure that we keep that going. Keep telling me how it's going. Give some feedback, encourage each other. We are one big team, and I want to make sure that we can kind of act as such. Awesome. With the bench press and barbell rows and single leg split squat. Yeah. So those are all 5x5 exercises. So yeah, literally, and that's totally normal. Usually, it's like your third set is going to be the easiest because your central nervous system is starting to kind of get used to the workload. So if your first, second, and like third set pretty easy or are pretty tough, that's totally normal, and just finish off 4 and 5 normally. Or if your first set is like stupid easy, go up. That's another warm-up set, right? You can never take too many warm-up sets. I really can't stress how important it is. I'll do 10 sets on squats, but only 3 of them are working, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm fully warmed up and fully ready. Cool. So Stacy, do you have any more questions? Anything like that? Cool. Awesome. So while you answer that question, I'm just going to go over where my training is, and it'll kind of give you guys some foresight as to where I am and where you guys will be shortly. So I alternate right now in between upper body and lower body days, right? So I'm doing, let's see, cool. I alternate between upper body and lower body days. So I'm doing one day I'm bench pressing, the next day, so like usually right the day afterwards, I'm working out about 6 days a week. I'm obviously going to adapt that. You guys are both at about 4, so I'll stick to about 4 days per week for you guys. So it's 1 day per week, or 1 day I'm benching, the next day I'm squatting and deadlifting, the day after that I'm working on like overhead presses, the day after that I'm squatting again, and the day after that I'm working on bench press, right? So I'm kind of just alternating between everything and trying to make sure that I hit as much volume as possible and still use some pretty heavy loads. So what does that mean for where you guys are going to be going? And then in the next couple weeks, like I said, you're going to be doing a lot more volume, some higher frequency stuff, and really just having like a good go-to, right? So right now I'm doing like 3 sets of 5 on squats, but it's with a really light weight. So let's say right now I'm at about a 385 squat. I'm doing 275, right? So 115 or 110 pounds less than what I can do for the 3 sets of 5, and really just working on being as explosive and as powerful as possible. And then if I'm feeling good, I'll throw in a couple of singles at the end, but you guys don't have to do that unless you have aspirations of competing as a powerlifter. Let's see what else. Cool. And guys, once again, I just wanted to reiterate. I'm not sure if Stacey got to be here for this, but I know we've had some technical difficulties, but it's really important that I get to kind of see how you guys are doing your single leg split squats and doing all these different exercises, because it allows me to have some foresight, right? It allows me to say like, wow, like deadlifts are okay, but they're not quite at the point that I want them to be. Trained twice per week. Maybe we still have a little bit of rounding the lower back, something like that, and I can go, okay, we're going to stick with that for once a week. If I do any more volume, that'll definitely lead to some lower back soreness and maybe some injuries, right? Which is not the best. Awesome. When filling out the data sheet on Google Drive, should I be putting in the total weight for the barbell work, bar and plates, or just the plates? And for the dumbbells, is it both added together or just the weight of the single dumbbell? Great question. So when you're adding in the weight, add in the bar, right? So if you have the bar with 10 pounds on each side, that'd be, I'd just write down 65 pounds you have 45s in each side, write down 135 pounds. That just allows me, one of the big things is that allows me to see, okay, this is the total weight, because some barbells might be heavier than others. You might have a 35-pound bar or a 45-pound bar, and I want to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page. Once again, as long as I can kind of see that the weights are moving up, that's okay. But I definitely want to see. I know that I was going to ask you some of the weights. Like for the barbell exercises were relatively light. And I was going to ask you if that included the bar or not when I started to write down the next couple weeks of programming. Also, yeah. So then for the dumbbells, I want you to write down the weight of one dumbbell, right? So it's kind of the opposite of with the barbell. I just want one of the weights for the barbell. There's a cat in the yard, and the dog is freaking. Hunter, hey. Sorry. He's freaking out. Hunter, hey. So just one of the weights for the dumbbell. You don't need to do any more than that. In terms of like, if you're doing 2 dumbbells, I can kind of guess, right? I would say the only times that it might be a little bit different would be, for those single leg split squats, just write down, maybe like 45s, because you have a pair of dumbbells, right? But for like the single arm farmer's carries or the Turkish get-ups, that's just another thing where you guys can kind of just roll with that and kind of just say, like I used a 45-pound dumbbell or something like that. There's a cat out there, so
Oh, really?
he might be attacking a cat right now. He's pretty small, so it'll be fine.
Small?
No, Hunter's small, so you're good. Sorry. All right, guys. Let's see. In terms of the Google Drive, a couple of things, I guess. One thing is that I want you guys to be trying to update it immediately after your workout. I know that can be a little bit tedious if you're working out and then you have to go to work or you have to do all these different things. Once again, I do check that pretty often. I don't make any edits or anything like that, but I like to kind of see where we are in terms of the weight training and what exactly everything's been feeling like, how it's been going, and see if there's anything that I need to ask you guys about in terms of weights. Stacy, I was going to ask you about that earlier. Awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see what else. So we'll keep the difficulty about the same. We're going to make sure that the warm-ups are very similar. We might even be keeping the same warm-up, sticking with that Joe DeFranco Agile 8. I think I posted the Agile 8 video in the guidelines. If you guys ever have any questions about that, definitely go check that out. There's a ton of awesome information that that guy trains professional athletes for a reason. And I personally do that warm up every single time that I work out. It's fantastic. My hips don't hurt. My back doesn't hurt anymore. So I'm doing pretty well. So Stacy, if you have any more questions, we got about 5 minutes left. I definitely want to make sure I can answer as much as I possibly can before we are all done. Let's see. I'm having white grapefruit juice for the first time. It's not bad. Oh, and then actually one more question, or one more thing that I'm going to ask you guys, is I want you to throw in, when you do work out, like, I haven't checked it on Fitocracy, but make sure you log it into Fitocracy too. I get to, not only see it on there, but we also get points for our group, right? So we have like 1 million points somehow. I have no idea. We have about 1 million points on Fitocracy, right? The more points we have, the more badass that we look, right? And also it's really cool because then as a goal we can say, hey, let's see if we can get 30,000 points this week. We don't have a lot of people, but I think we can do it. And I'm going to be putting out some challenges to everyone over the next couple of days. I'm still kind of messing around with that and coming up with some fun ideas for that. Cool. So guys, if you have any more questions, definitely let me know. I'm all out of things to talk about. I had like a huge list of things to write, and right now, basically I want to go over form checks, macros, squat, single leg split squat, carries, and how the last week's been. Awesome, guys. So have a great weekend. Thank you so much for rescheduling this. I really do appreciate it. I was literally stuck in Newark, New Jersey at 8 p.m. yesterday. I would have much rather been doing a Google Hangout with you guys, but instead I was hopping onto a plane and going to Clearwater, Florida. So have a great week. I'll be posting in our photography group and really making sure that we keep in contact. Try and post after each workout and just let me know how it goes. The more feedback that I get, the better. It also allows me to kind of program everything out, but also just makes me feel really good to know that you guys are enjoying yourself. So hey, thank you so much. I will talk to you guys next week, next Friday at 8 p.m. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.